I will start with, as one of our reporters did go to the streets of Nairobi, and a majority of Nairobians expect the government to announce stringent measures to deal with those who misuse public resources ahead of the unveiling of the 3.07 trillion shillings 2018-2019 national budget this afternoon. They are calling for accountability in the expenditure of public resources, noting that huge sums of money lost to corruption and misuse weigh heavily on the taxpayer at a time when the cost of living is high. Rose Gaku has more details.
Wao ndio watu wakubwa, wako na pesa, wanatafuta pesa kutoka kwa watu wa chini. So wanastahili kutafuta pesa kwa watu wako juu kwa njia nyingine. Sio mwananchi wa kawaida anaamka asubuhi, ako kazi, anatafuta, anauza ndizi yake kidogo, anatoa shilingi 5, tena serikali inataka hiyo shilingi 5 pia yote.
Budget kwa mwananchi wengi wana kazi, wanaenda kusoma. Itabidi lazimisha serikali apandishe bei ya kitu fulani juu, na kwa mwananchi anaenda kuumbisa. Itabidi lazimisha Kenya kuteremsha bei fulani, na alitoa na bei kubwa. Sasa serikali inaweza umia, mwananchi inaweza umia. Sasa waliohusika na budget lazima wakuwe equal to 50-50. Isiumishe government, isiumishe mwananchi.
Tungependelea kuangalia waangalie sana mtu wa chini kabisa, mtu wa mashinani huko chini, kwa sababu hawa ndio wanafanya hii mambo. Alafu mambo ya budget ifanyike ni kuhusu binadamu, na tuangalie sana vitu ipunguzwe, kwa sababu inategemea vile uchumi iko.
Kids, like I feel like the government will should not add the taxes on these common commodities, cause like sisi common wananchi tutumia sana, like hizo ndio vitu si utumia sana, so wanafaa ongeze kwa vitu zingine.
Kama mseka mimi hivi, mimi bado mimi ni asola, mimi sijaandikwa na gavasi, ndio. So mimi hujua nikipata 200 ama 100 ndio hivyo natumia hizo the whole day. So ningependa gava iweze kuangalia mseka mimi hivi.
Hao watu wenye waliiba wanafaa waweke warudishe hiyo pesa. Kila mtu afainiwe na warudishe yote until itakuwa imelipwa yote, ili wasifanye wananchi walipe kitu yenye hata hawaoni nini yake, benefit yake.
Hivyo serikali angeonelea kwamba wangepunguzia hata bei, na ile pesa ambazo zinapotea. Pesa ziko nyingi katika Kenya, lakini zinaenda katika mfuko yenye imetoboka.
Pesa ambazo zitatolewa ziwe ni pesa ambazo zitafanya kazi kulingana na vile imekuwa budgeted. We don't want some few people pocketing billions of money and running away, leaving our country for the generation to come to suffer.
Well, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich will this afternoon be expected to present the 3.07 trillion shillings, and O'Brien Kimani is at Parliament buildings, and he will tell us what is happening on whether the Cabinet Secretary, at what time is he expected to arrive, and also to share with us some of the expectations that the members of Parliament have once this budget is tabled. O'Brien Kimani, if you can hear me, share with us some of their views.
Well, Carol, thank you so very much back there in Broadcasting House. Of course, we are still here at the lawns. Well, we are on the lawns of the National Assembly. And of course, we are tracking every movement. Every moment here counts. We are still waiting for the man of the moment. That is National Cabinet or National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich, who is expected to come to the floor of the House and outline his funds-raising mechanisms to fund the 3.07 trillion shillings. Right now, before we went for the break, we were talking to Honorable Danita Gati, she's a nominated member of parliament representing persons living with disability, and now she's joining us here so that she can give us her overview of this budget. Thank you very much indeed for joining us here. Now, I want to hear from you. From 3.07 trillion shillings, what is the expectation of persons living with disability?
The 3.07 trillion Kenya shillings that is in the budget, the 2018-2019 financial year, is a good sum. And on behalf of persons that live with disability in Kenya, there's 6.5 million Kenyans that live with disability. I'm very sure, and we are very excited to be seeing what the government has put in store and has put in place for us. I represent persons with disability. The 6.5 million Kenyans that live with disability. We want to see what are the structures, what are the mechanisms through which this money, this budget really basically reaches our people spread across this country. You can see we have the National Fund for the Disabled, which of course has been increased, which we know very well has funding which has definitely increased, and we want to see then how are we going to enhance the lives of persons that live with disability socio-economically in this country. And it is very bad that even as we are discussing the budget, we are discussing this budget of 3 trillion Kenya shillings amidst a lot of corruption cases that are facing this country. Yeah. So my people, and what I have always done in parliament, is to lobby that even as we embezzle funds here and there, my people that are persons living with disability should be spared. Money that has traditionally been set aside for persons with disability has to reach persons with disability. So I am very keen to see then how this budget has addressed and how it is going to reach my people right in Migori. As you are aware, I represented the county of Migori as the women representative. So a county that has over 150,000 persons with disability. You can imagine, go to Nyeri County, go to many other counties, you'll find persons with disability living right in those counties and in those constituencies. Tell me this,
Donita, I want to hear from you. You know, there were a lot of expectations, you know, that this year we're likely to see an upscale in terms of allocations to the persons with disability fund from around 200 million shillings to about 1 billion shillings. And of course, this never happened. The allocation is about 285 million shillings. Does this make you feel sad?
It makes me feel bad, and it is unfortunate that we have not, while we are squeezing money from, you know, the NYS, which of course you know, and many other sources, and from the consolidated fund, we have still not reached a level where we can say persons with disability have been really taken care of. And it is very unfortunate, because that is the reason why we need to ensure that as a government, we need to pull up our people. Persons with disability belong to this country. Persons with disability are our children. Persons with disability are our wives and are our mothers. So we need to take a serious responsibility as a country and as a government to make sure that we are moving right in the right direction with its people. And its people means and includes persons living with disability. I would say that the increase of about 100, I would put it, about 100 million that has gone to boost the kitty for persons living with disability. It is a good move, but it is a move that is still little. I would expect that we double this amount. And I'm very hopeful that even as we move on discussing the budget towards the next financial year, we are going to double or even triple these funds. Persons with disability have a lot of challenges, and their challenges are varied. Therefore, we have to take a serious responsibility. Let me tell you one thing. As a member of parliament, I feel very bad when we see issues disability. We leave issues disability to foreigners, to donors, external donors. You find issues of disability are left to the churches to do. Look at the schools. The special schools, for example, that we have in this country are actually run and funded and managed by donors and by foreigners and missionaries. I mean, it is a shame that we still are in that we need to bring the issue of persons with disability funding for special schools. You know, we have all these special schools that are all over. We need to make sure that the money that we have allocated to counties, the money that goes to support the gender and the youth and persons with disability, basically looks at ways in which we can strengthen the structures that are available in our counties to make sure that we increase the specialized schools. We also need to ensure that even mechanisms for persons with disability to, you know, to access and even get those small basics, like persons with disability always have challenges in terms of accessing, for example, registration, getting this minute thing that is called the registration ID for persons with disability is a huge problem and is a huge challenge. So I am looking at ways in which now, after this budget, it is not a very, very small budget. It is fair. For us, to me, I would say it's fair to my people, but I want to push so that this budget can now be doubled in the next financial year, so that people with disability also feel that they belong to this country and they are happy and they enjoy the constitution. You know, you are much aware that the UN Declaration of Human Rights, you are all very much aware that the coalition on rights of persons with disability all have put international, and Kenya has signed these international treaties that basically look at persons with disability. Kenya is a member of those treaties. So we have to take cue and make sure that we localize and domesticate those treaties to ensure that persons living with disability enjoy their social, cultural and political rights in this country. Therefore, that means even the budget, the increase of 100 million from last year's 200 million, it is you know, it is still not.
It's a drop in the ocean.
It's a drop in the ocean.
Danita, let's be positive that probably maybe next year, as you are saying, the funds will be tripled.
We will definitely look to increase this funding. We have so many members of parliament that now live with disability in the 12th parliament.
Very well. Danita, thank you so much indeed for your time, because we have to let you go so that you can attend to other business.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
I'm looking forward to this budget.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Danita Gati is a nominated member of parliament there, and of course representing persons with disability, joining us here at parliament as we wait for the arrival of the man of the moment, that is our cabinet secretary in charge of national treasury, to outline the various strategies he's going to use, you know, to fund the 3.07 trillion shillings budget. I now have to take you back to Broadcasting House. We still have our eyes here, and of course a reminder that we still have our people in Mombasa County, and of course in Kisumu, here in Nairobi. We are keeping an eye and of course updating you on what is happening and the expectations of people, what they expect to hear from Rotich. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Karen Jenga, it's your moment.
Well, thank you, Brian Kimani, for that interactive session, actually interview with Danita, who is a nominated member of parliament representing persons with disability. And just the latest news from my news desk is that the Labour Court Judge Redido Stephanie has reinstated the IEBC CEO Ezra Chiloba, and he says that Chebukati's decision to send Chiloba on compulsory leave during audit finds that due process was not followed to arrive at that decision. That is the latest from our news desk. Also, the Energy Regulatory Commission has also reviewed this month fuel, and a litre of super petrol will increase by 1 shilling and 64 cents. Diesel will go up by 4 shillings and 96 cents, and kerosene increases. This is very alarming, increases by 5 shillings and 88 cents. Well, we'll be giving you a detailed coverage of that story and how it will affect the common mwananchi. Now, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich is this afternoon expected to present a 3.07 trillion shillings 2018-2019 national budget. This is expected to be financed through tax collections, grants and borrowing. Experts have, however, warned against excessive borrowing, saying that the country is already in huge debt.
Kenya's budget has increased from 1.6 trillion shillings in 2013-2014 to the projected 3.07 trillion shillings in the next financial year. The increase has been to support mega infrastructural projects such as roads, the standard gauge railway and dams.
The budget should be based on realistic revenues and expenditure growth should be contained. Mr. Speaker, a review of the budget as per the functions of the government indicates that the highest share of government expenditure, about 29%, constitutes public debt transactions.
In the 2018-2019 fiscal year, is expected to prioritize the Big Four agenda that focuses on manufacturing, affordable housing, universal healthcare and food security.
To want to increase the tax rate, obviously to meet the debt burden, the repayments of the SGR loans, the Eurobonds and the others. Our feeling is that that is not sustainable. You do not grow the taxes by increasing the tax rate, but what you need to be doing is actually to expand the tax base.
A bulk of the cash to finance the budget will be from tax collection. The National Treasury plans to raise 1.74 trillion shillings from ordinary revenue through various taxes. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich is banking on the deployment of technology to broaden the tax base. This has received the backing of the National Assembly, with legislators saying they want the list of zero-rated products reduced.
That is why in 2009 the government introduced an overtax. And we think that this is what the government ought to pursue and to implement, because almost everybody in Kenya today is
used. To finance the budget, the National Treasury expects the appropriation in aid to take care of 180 billion shillings, while the development partners will avail 47 billion shillings as grants. The National Treasury also expects to borrow the remaining 562.75 billion shillings, both locally and from the international market. But
we need to understand whether there is value for money, because there are people who think we are spending so much money beyond the ordinary or the reasonable price.
Budget estimates indicate that Kenya would spend 29% of the next budget, that is 870.62 billion shillings, on servicing debt. Regina Manyara Gitao reporting for Channel 1 News.
Regina Manyara Gitao. Now, with the unveiling of the 3.07 trillion shillings budget by Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich today, expectations of the ordinary Kenyan remains high in the wake of rising cost of living. For small-scale traders in Mombasa County, theirs is a wish that the effects of the financial policy statement will act to narrow the widening gap between the rich and the poor, as well as address the rising commodity prices. Our Mombasa-based reporter Juni Karisa highlights on the aspirations of the traders.
Migadini, Changamwe constituency. A sleepy village characterized by unplanned Swahili houses signifies their rich culture. Majority of the natives are small-scale traders who barely make $1 a day. At the local bus station, we meet Dennis Olwatch, a second-hand clothes dealer. Our interview severally interrupted by calls from his clients. The father of two says he got into the business 13 years ago with a capital of just 250 shillings.
By that time, piece moja ilikuwa natoka na 60 shillings. So nilivonunua hiyo piece 4 nikaa nimeweka kwa ndani ya mwenzangu mwingine, tulikuwa tunafanya biashara. In fact nilikuwa namuuzia kwanza. So nilipopata pesa 240 nikanunua zangu 4 nikachanganya na zake. So nilikuwa namuuzia na uza mpaka zangu. So zika grow.
But with the business having stabilized, he now makes about 7,000 shillings every month. The little savings helped him acquire a mortgage, which saw him acquire a permanent roof for his family. But it has not been smooth sailing, he says.
Sisi tunasikia walisema mtumba ni free, ni duty free. But kulingana venye tunauziwa ni kana kwamba si ni uwizi, si ni utapeli fulani unaendelea. Kwa maana kila siku unasikia bei imeongezwa, kila siku bei unasikia bei imeongezwa.
A few kilometers away, we bump into Florence Mwakio, or Mama Esther, a household name in this part of the world. She has been in the green grocery business for the past 6 years, having started off with an initial capital of 500 shillings. With a monthly return of about 2,000 shillings every month, Florence says she is now able to fend for her family.
Samani ilikuwa nzuri, haikuwa kama hii. Unaenda sokoni unanunua mali, ukirudi at least ukiuza mali, ukifanya hesabu vile ulivyonunua, alafu fanya yale mahesabu, utoe mahesabu ya kununua, at least unapata kitu sahihi.
But the high commodity prices are threatening the validity of her business, she says.
Maisha ya mwananchi ya kawaida haisi kosa kula. Sometimes unalete mali hapa, unakuja unaambia customer, tomato ni 2.15 3.20, mwenyewe anamaka. Sasa hai, kwani leo soko ikwaje? Sasa sisi kule wenyewe tunaumia. Tunausua spinach 5.20. Sasa ikifika hapa, mpaka uangalia at least ile 20 yako irudi. Unaweza ikarudi na ukakosa ile faida. Sasa sisi kama watu wa chini bwana, serikali pia ijue kuna wale waliitwa na Ruto maasila. Pia waangaliwe.
Our journey will end at Christine Koibikanga's food vendor shop, where she sells fried chips and viazi karai to the local community. As is her norm, Wednesdays are her busiest days, and so she opens her business in the afternoon. With only 2,500 shillings, Christine ventured into the business 3 years ago.
Wakati nilianza sikuwa na ule uwezo wa kuchukua gunia, sababu gunia lilikuwa ni shilingi 1,500. Sasa nilikuwa naweza enda nachukua ile kidogo, kiwango cha pesa yangu, pesa zingine nikaweka kwa upande wa uto, na zingine nikaweka upande wa kuni, mifuko za kufunga chakula. Hivyo imekuwa ikinisaidia, naweza wanunulia chakula kwa nyumba, naweza wanunulia mavazi, na hata wakati huo walikuwa hawajaingia shule nilikuwa naweza kuwawekea.
A saving culture, she says, is what has kept her family going over the years. Like Mama Esther, Christine lauds the government for cushioning the common man through mitigation initiatives, but wants more done to cushion the poor from the high cost of living. And with the reading of the budget estimates, small-scale traders from Migadini remains upbeat that the biggest budget for the country presents the best bet yet for the poor to finally enjoy the fruits of their labor.
We are expecting wapunguze unga, kitu kama unga ugali, sukari, mafuta.
Vitu vya dukani ziko juu sana na pesa mtaani pia hakuna. Kwa hivyo sasa na tukisikia hii mambo iko ya corruption, pia tunasikitika. Manake pesa ziko mfukoni, biashara ndio hiyo imelala na vitu bado ziko juu.
Hear our plea and reduce the cost of living, so says Mwanaisha Odho Wanjiku down here in Mombasa County. Reporting from Migadini in Changamwe constituency, I'm Juni Karisa.
Thank you, Juni Karisa. That is our coast reporter. And now we've been asking you, just a reminder of our question today, we're asking you what are your expectations as a Kenyan for this year's budget? What are your expectations as a Kenyan for this year's budget? And we are asking you to use the hashtag BudgetKE 2018, BudgetKE 2018, or you can SMS line on 22162. Or also use our social media platform at KBC Channel 1 on Facebook and at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter. Now, to other stories, the First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has secured more support in the U.S. for the Beyond Zero campaign. The support coming from Mark Dearbull, the faculty co-director of the Center for Global Health and Quality and professor in the Department of Medicine at Georgetown University Medical Center. Dearbull promised to use his wide experience to enable more Kenyans access quality healthcare through the Beyond Zero initiative. In another forum at Boston, America, First Lady Margaret Kenyatta endorsed the demand for quality healthcare as a key component in promoting universal healthcare coverage in the Sustainable Development Goals era. Later, the First Lady met with the former President of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Well, to other stories, the county's Amusement and Gaming Society is urging the government to consider tightening regulations on gambling activities in order to protect the vulnerable in the society from betting instead of placing a blanket ban on their businesses. This comes in the wake of the ban imposed on gambling machines that has led to more than 1,000 machines across the country destroyed or set ablaze. The society's chairman, Sami Kahio, says most operators who used to run the businesses have now been rendered jobless.
Advertising of betting should be something that is well controlled. We should be having timings on when to have the adverts. There should be some regulations on that, and we also need to do a disclaimer or even stop advertising of betting in totality, and people continue doing business. And we really need to regulate the way this product is being advertised. And also the other thing is we need to look when people are betting online, what are chances that the underage or the vulnerable groups will access the same thing, because ours, the difference between that one, the online, and ours is that ours is real time. And within our society, we have our own internal regulations. Many Kenyans are going to lose employment. They are going to go back to their bad habits of drinking and drugs, and also, other kind of crime, because they were able to put 1 or 2 machines and get themselves busy running. And this money is 10 shillings, 20 shillings. Can we have proper regulations where you have issues? Can the national government work together with the county government to fix up issues where necessary? We are open and we are ready, because it's only through having the legitimate ones running that you are going to eliminate the bad ones.
Security agencies in Narok have recovered more than 1,000 cedar posts in a joint crackdown involving the police, KFS, KWS, and Narok County Rangers. Kenya Forest Service Ecosystem Conservator Mwai Muragori says they remained vigilant to stop the illegal logging.
The ban on logging remains in force as security agents remain on high alert in the war to stop the wanton destruction of forests. A multi-agency sting operation in Nongoben area of Mao Forest led to the recovery of 1,000 cedar posts as the government moves to eject people from the major water tower. 500 of the posts were destroyed after it emerged that no truck would access the area to carry away the trees. According to the KFS, multi-agency team is collaborating with the community around the forest to assist nab those advancing destruction of the forest.
Naimisa wananchi juu wamegawanyika pale. Kuna wale ambao wana join loggers ama waharibifu wa msitu, na hiyo atupembelezi, tutatoa hata kwa manyumba zao. Kitu ingine,
and we know the importance of Mao Forest, because Narok relies on this forest, the rivers that are flowing down into Masai Mara, and once we destroy this ecosystem, we are also destroying our livelihoods. So we must protect our livelihood generously. We are very happy for Wananchi giving us information that we cannot work together without all these agencies. So on behalf of...
However, no suspects were arrested, but police say there were no crucial leads.
From the Kenya Wildlife Service in Mwingi North Constituency, Kitui County, were forced to use chopper to disperse a herd of elephants that had invaded farms in Magadongoe and Ukasi villages. Locals claim the Jumbos have been terrorizing villagers for the past 2 weeks, with some members of the community counting losses after their crops were destroyed.
The elephants, believed to have strayed from the Kora National Game Reserve 2 weeks ago, destroyed maize, sorghum and watermelons worth thousands of shillings. A warden from the Meru Conservation Area who led the exercise to drive back the elephants to the game reserve, Bakari Chongwa, said he heard the cry of the Mandongoi residents and immediately dispatched his team.
Tumeweza saa hizi kutoka jana, tumekuwa na ndege yetu aina helikopta, ndege ya KWS, na imeweza kufukuza hawa ndovu. Wametoka kwa mashamba na mpaka saa hizi bado operation ya kutoa hawa ndovu inaendelea.
The aggressive Jumbos, however, outmaneuvered them, forcing them to retreat. The officer assured residents that KWS is on the course to keep the elephants at bay.
Katika kupima ndio tunaweka hiyo takwimu zetu, tukae nazo chonjo, na vile vile tunaeleza wananchi kwamba ndio kuna malipo wanaweza tazamia katika kupoteza mimea yao.
Muthuinzao, one of the farmers whose crop was destroyed, said their biggest worry was that the Jumbos like to hide in the thickets, sparking fear that they may return to mete out more destruction.
Tuliporipoti tu hivi tulikuwa tunaongojea watakuja baada ya siku 2-3 hivi, lakini tunachangaa siku hiyo ndio walipika hapa na kuangalia wanyama. Ile shida tuko nao ni vile wakiingia tu pale kando kama hawaonekani, hata mtu yote labda ni mtu kama sisi huwa anaogopa ondoka kwa sababu pia ni hatari.
Take a look at the sports update, where the 2018 FIFA World Cup kicks off today in Russia, with hosts facing Saudi Arabia in the opening match at Ruzinsky Stadium in Moscow. The tournament features 32 teams, including holders Germany, who are looking to become the first team to win back-to-back World Cups.
This year's World Cup will be the 21st and will be played out in 12 stadia across 11 cities in Russia. Germany, who defeated Argentina in the 2014 final,